Good morning, greetings, and hope everyone is having a good day or a good night or whatever time of the day you are watching this video. I'm sitting here above beautiful Delamar, beautiful used lightly, in an Aegis Gladius, and I figured I would do a video on MFDs, multifunction displays. It's something that most aircraft currently have, newer aircraft and definitely most modern fighters have, and that you all will be using extensively while in the verse. Most ships in game have 4 MFDs, such as you're seeing here. This is the Gladius, so it's, again, you're probably, if you play Squadron 42, this is what you'll be flying, at least at the start. So it's probably a good thing to familiarize yourself with how these work, not just for the Gladius, but for other aircraft, spaceships in the game. And one of the big things you're going to be looking at is, ease of use and how it's going to influence your flying. Most the ships we have, when you're flying, you're going to have at least 2 MFDs in view, sometimes more. Something like the Cutlass, you pretty much have your entire panel viewable. So with MFDs, you can change what is on each screen. So you're not locked into having your shields here, systems down here, all this stuff spread out. You can change what is on each screen by hitting menu, and then you can select from power, self status, comms, heat, target status, weapons, and shields. So depending on your situation, you can switch it around. So if you want to be Mr. Stealthy Stealth, and you want to make sure that the other person doesn't see you, you can have target status, and then over here, you can be adjusting your power levels down below the quote-unquote stealth line. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing the power level down low, basically activating stealth. And you can see my IR and EM have dropped significantly. Again, this is not a stealthy ship. This is the Gladius. So there's only so far you're going to do. And on some craft, you're going to lose some functionality when you go down into stealth mode. And then, of course, when you want to get out of it, you can just whoop, bring your power right back up. Good to go. Other ships, you'll have suppress overall IR available, and that'll help reduce your infrared signature. And obviously, if you have things overclocked, that is going to adjust your signature as well. And again, this brings you into the overclocking screen. So this is all under power. You can select, overclock a shield. And what that'll do is you'll be overclocking it like you're overclocking your processor and increasing the performance. And for some shields, it'll be regen time or hardening. You can do it for weapons. That'll adjust the fire rate. So we reduce, unoverclock that. Let's do your Panther laser repeaters, just one of them. And then when I fire, you'll notice one side is firing much faster than the other. And obviously it overheats faster than the other as well. So that's the downside with overclocking. But again, this is something you can do from your MFD. Now let's zoom back in. Let's go back here. So we've got our power over here. Over here we got target status. We can switch it up to weapons. Let's say you want to know your missile count while you're fighting. So you can know how many missiles you have. Over here we're going to have the size of the missiles. So we have a size 2 ignites and size 3 arresters. Tells me I have 4 of the size 2s and 2 of the size 3s. If I go to guns, it'll tell me how much ammo I got left in my nose gun. Obviously you don't need to worry about ammo if it's an energy weapon. And it'll tell you the health of your weapons, the health of your items, how much power they're using, etc. And you can turn off guns if you wanted to. Turn them back on. Change their fire group. In theory, I should be able to set this so that both are on the same fire group, but it's not letting me. On some you can, some you can't. Apparently this one's not letting me. Usually you can click. Maybe you have to do it here. Ah, there you go. You have to do it under guns. So now I've got everything firing with just one trigger. Now the problem with that is every time you turn off the ship, this will go back to whatever it was. You have to remember, if you like firing with just one trigger, and let's say you have an EMP on your secondary fire, you'll have to remember to set these to the same fire group, whether it's primary or secondary, every time you power up the ship, which can be really annoying. It doesn't seem to remember it. You can prioritize one missile over another, so if you want to use your size 3 arresters first, you can prioritize those. So there's no secondary anything there. Turn off your missiles, turn them on. Again, that's all measures you can do to reduce. So your layout for your MFDs is going to depend on the situation, but you can always find something that works good for you. You know, if you like having your power visible here, target status, and you want to be able to see your heat down here, you can have that set up, and then you could set, I don't know, self status down low. But again, it's going to depend on the situation, because if you're taking fire, you're going to want to know which shield face is down. If you got a shield face down, you're going to want to make sure that side is not towards the enemy. So you may want target status over here, and then as you're entering combat, move self status up there, and then move your missiles down here. So you can view as you're fighting, glance down, back up. And again, you want to keybind your head look so that while you're in combat you can see, because obviously if all you can see are these two screens while you're fighting, you're not going to know how many missiles you have left unless you hit like Z, and then you're not maneuvering, you're standing still and someone's going to be firing at you. It's all things to think about in your key binding setups and everything. And then over down on this screen, suppress overall IR. It's reduced our overall IR. Help a little bit on the stealth. So, lots of functionality you can get from your MFDs, having them up. Mess around with them, play with the settings, hit each button, see what happens when you hit something. These are all your flight modes, right? You can rotate the ship. That's always fun. I don't know if it actually does a whole lot to help you to check each shield face, because let's face it, this is the only view you really need. But you can mess around with all these buttons. Just hit them, play around with them, see what they do. Familiarize yourself with your MFD and how it works. That way, you know, maybe if you're in a retaliator, you're going to want this screen up here instead of target status. Because the target status for the retaliator is basically it's dead or alive. That's nice. But what you need to know is, do I have 6 size 9s or 0? Am I about to be solo flying in a retaliator with no one on the turrets and no torpedoes, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, now what? So, just mess around with it, figure this stuff out. Obviously you've got the warning panel here with radar lock, missile lock. This is all bugged to all get out. Half the time if someone's got a target lock on you, it's just going to stay on for the rest of your PlayStation. So again, look around, familiarize yourself with your cockpit as soon as you take off with it. Know where the power off is, know how to exit it, lock, unlock, engine on, engine off, spooling. Learn what all these buttons are. Not so much because you're going to need them, because you can have keybinds for everything, but just so you know. Now let's watch this. Let's power this thing off. I still love that. I don't know why it's not this way in all the ships, but I love the power on. Hello, Wise Wolf. How you doing today? I always like the power on for this. It's fun to watch your little dude push the buttons. Alright, I'm going to leave you all for the rest of your day. I'm sitting reserve and sitting at home, seeing if the airline calls me. Probably get a little game time in. So, have a good day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video.